Okay, so I feel like you need a little bit more practice on the medium ones, and then we're going to look at a large one. And then we'll probably do one more large one underneath this, but I couldn't fit it because I didn't know how much space we were going to need. But essentially, the difference between the mediums and the hards is that mediums only have one variable, whereas the hard ones or the large ones have more than one variable at a time. Luckily, you don't do anything different. So we're going to talk about splitting these up first. So we're going to take 20x to the 6. I'm going to write it over here. And we're going to divide that by negative 5x squared. Then we're going to rewrite minus 20x to the 4th over negative 5x squared. Then we're going to write minus 5x squared over negative 5x squared. Okay? And what we're going to do is we're going to start with the constants, and we're going to find our common factor and divide them. So our common factor between a 20 and a 5 is a 5. So we're going to divide top and bottom by 5. 20 divided by 5 is going to give me 4. I'm going to put it over here. And negative 5 divided by 5 is negative 1. So instead of putting a negative 1 on the bottom, I'm just going to put that negative with the 4. Okay? So a positive divided by negative is a negative. Boom. Then we have to subtract these exponents. So 6 take away 2 is going to give me x to the 4th power for my first term. So this is my first term. Now we're going to move to this one. Now if you notice, we've got a negative over a negative. Now that's going to make a positive altogether. So I can take and boom, boom, make those positive and make this a plus sign right away. I'm going to divide 20 by 5 again. And of course, I'm going to get 4 again. But the x to the 4th and the x squared, when you subtract these, you're going to get x squared. And then this is another negative over a negative. So we're going to boom, boom, make those positive. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. So we're going to put a positive and a 1. And then when we subtract our exponents, 2 take away 2, we get 0. So these cancel out. So this is my final polynomial. So that's how we do these medium ones. When we do large ones, the only difference is we have to account for different variables. So we're still splitting this up. So this is going to be 9r squared s squared divided by 3rs plus sign 3r squared s over 3rs minus sign 6rs squared over 3rs. So we're basically splitting them up just like we did before. Don't get nervous about having more than one exponent, or more than one variable, because you're doing it the exact same way. We're going to start by tackling the constants. Okay, so when I tackle the constants, I'm going to divide top and bottom by 3. Those cancel, and we're left with 3 on top. Now, I've got an r squared and an r. This is really r to the first. I'm going to subtract these, and that gives me r to the first, right? Because 2 minus 1 is 1. And then this is s to the first, and when I do 2 minus 1, I'm going to get 1. So that's the first term, okay? Divide out the common factor, subtract the exponents, subtract the exponents. Now we're moving over here. We're dividing 3 by 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. They cancel out. This is r squared over r. Subtract these, and you get r. This is really 1. R to the first. And then this is s to the first over s to the first. And when you subtract 1 minus 1, you get 0. So these cancel out. All right. So 3 divided by 3 is 1. And then you've got r squared over r to the first. So that subtracts. That gives you r to the first. And s over s, those subtract off, give you 0. So those cancel out completely. Bring over your minus sign. Divide top and bottom by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 3 divided by 3 cancels. You have r to the first over r to the first. That subtracts to give you 0. So those cancel. And you have s squared over s to the first. And 2 minus 1 is just s to the first. So here's our first large one with multiple variables in it. Okay, got one more for you, and then we'll be done for notes. All right, here's the largest one. This is the largest one for this week on the notes. And it comes from number 24. And I'm going to write it as a fraction right off the gate so that you can see this is how it was given in the book. So you can see the variables are getting a little bit more wild, you know, higher exponents, whatever, but you're doing the same exact process and it really doesn't matter. And they want to divide this one all by 4x to the 4th y. All right. So we are dividing this polynomial by this monomial. And when you do that, you want to split them up. So we are going to make 3 different terms, right? Because there's 3 things on the top. So let me write this nice and clear. 4x to the 4th y divided by 4x to the 4th y, that's my denominator, minus 8x to the 6th y squared over 4x to the 4th y, dividing our last term, plus 12x to the 8th y to the 6th over 4x to the 4th y. All right, so we split it up, that's first. Then we look for common factors for our constants and subtract our exponents. So our common factor for 4 is 4. So if I divide the top and bottom by 4, I'm going to get 1 over 1, which is 1. These exponents are going to cancel, make 0, and these exponents are going to cancel and make 0 because I subtract those exponents. So my first term is just 1. It can't be nothing, okay? Every term has to end up with something. So your constants, if they divide out to 1 whole, make sure you write that. And then we're going to move over here. We need a minus. Divide top and bottom by 4, and 8 divided by 4 is 2. We're going to subtract these exponents, 6 minus 4, and get x squared. And we're going to subtract these exponents, 2 minus 1, and get y to the 1st. Last one, we're going to divide top and bottom by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3. 8 take away 4 is x to the 4th. And this is 6 take away 1. 6 take away 1 is y to the 5th. Okay? So here is the largest one in the problem set for this week. This was on pages 370 and 371 in the textbook. If you want to look back and see that I'm doing problems directly out of the book. What we're going to do now is you're going to work on your assignment, which I'm going to post. I believe there's 10 questions that are more like these. So contact me if you have any issues or problems. Good luck.